In this first episode of In Retrospective, I will be looking at one of my favorite games from the 90s, which is kinda a niche game. Back when Sierra was a big publisher, they created the Police Quest series. They were procedural police games, meaning that you had to play by the book, or in law's terms. This made the game stand out as they incorporated realism as its main factor. This also means that the games weren't for everyone. The SWAT series, however, made it accessible for a broader audience. Visually more attractive, more excitement, and an engaging storyline made the SWAT series a hit among a big audience. Today I want to focus on one of my favorites in the series, SWAT 2. Released in 1998, it was an extreme seller with 400,000 copies sold a year later. So what makes this game interesting, you ask? I've been playing this game for over 22 years now, and I want to show you what makes this game enjoyable. But this segment wouldn't be called In Retrospective if I wouldn't shed it in today's standards. A little notice, this game only runs in Windows 95 and XP. There is a GOG version for sale, but that version can't be installed and is bugged. So I'm running this on my Lenovo R60 with Windows XP. So right off the bat, if you haven't noticed. But this game is visually unattractive in 2020. Just to remind you, this game hasn't aged well the past 22 years, and it shows. The user interface is stock Windows with its drop-down menu and its font is Impact. In 1998, I didn't really care much for its aesthetic. I mean, the game has other great points which excel it to higher levels, but nowadays, this kinda hurts. All SWAT officers and terrorists are the same bland model. Bad guys and hostages are all the same looking in variation of holding a gun or not. Just a quick summary of what the game is about. You lead in a commander-style way either a SWAT team through 15 story-driven missions against a fictional terrorist organization called the Five Eyes, or you command the Five Eyes through story-driven missions against SWAT. Both have their own methods of handling situations. SWAT must preserve lives at all costs while defusing and resolving threats by different means. The terrorists, however, can use any violent method without any consequences in order to make their mission succeed. However, the SWAT missions are more interesting. They require skill, thinking, and the SWAT officers have more and better equipment at their disposal. I reckon Sierra did this on purpose because the game is revolved around SWAT and not around terrorists. It also looks like the LAPD wanted to make a statement that crime does not pay. The Five Eyes are poor with having almost no funding, weak character statistics, and crap weaponry and equipment. While scrolling through the character list, I chuckled because of how generic these mugshots are. They took the most lifeless people and placed them in front of the camera. Rednecks, washed-up lawyers, and all the grandpas they could find. The SWAT character listing isn't that great either. Some of them look like they don't want to be here at all. This game does differ from the other SWAT games in the series. You handle a lot of the SWAT department, not just giving out orders in the field, but also creating teams, equipping teams, and so on within the budget. Now there is a cheat to get a lot of money. You need to sell all the equipment of all the SWAT officers that you aren't using. Personally, I never needed to do this, as I will explain later on. I'm always over budget and never ran out of money in the past 22 years. Every mission consists of events that happen in real life, hostage situations, a bank robbery, search warrants, and so on. The game is played in an isometric perspective for a good view of the situation. Now what makes this game so great is simply by the fact that it's gripping. The game uses a random generator for each mission in where the opponents are leveled out as passive or aggressive from the beginning, middle section, or the end. It's so random, and it's one of the key elements of why I keep coming back to this game. Opponents also run around the map and are randomly put in places, so each time you play, the end results vary. So I've been playing this game for 22 years now, but I've been a police officer myself since then. And I look at this game in another perspective. A lot of things here are based on police tactics from the late 90s, which is accurate and not something I can rant about. But a lot of things have changed. I wasn't a SWAT officer, but I frequently came in contact with SWAT officers in the field and during training sessions. And this game has some annoying factors that not only ruin the gameplay, but also make it hard to enjoy at some points. To start off, the artificial intelligence is off the hook so bad. While you are mostly in control as commander in calm situations, SWAT officers become rampant loose chickens when a shooting occurs. They immediately disobey orders and run off on their own to see what's going on. This ruins your planning and you have to click like crazy to get them back in their original position. On the other hand, sometimes SWAT officers stand there doing nothing while a terrorist walks by with a hostage, waiting for you to issue them a command. And even worse, getting shot by the same terrorist and not firing back. Now, I'm not saying that the game is totally unplayable because of this, but it's a lot of micromanaging under extreme time pressure. But man, looking back at these controls, you really have to click and click and click. The only way to beat a mission is to click like crazy and fast in the right order. Stack up each of your officers correctly at a door. In the correct line of sight, have 4 of them weapon ready. Make them all wear gas masks, and the element leader not equip a firearm, because he's the one you control as leader in the field. Click the enter door icon, then quickly press the bullhorn icon to shout at people. Then quickly go back to your sidearm or primary weapon and search. It feels more like I'm playing Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun at fast speed than anything else. There are some other annoying things though. All the graphics in the game are 2D and static, which means you can't see what's going on behind a wall, because you can't zoom in or out or rotate the map. This results in issues like when one of your officers is chasing a bad guy and you as a commander can't properly issue the arrest command, because the bad guy is there, but you as commander can't see them, but your SWAT officer is standing right next to him. So as you see here, I'm searching with my mouse icon in order to get the handcuff icon, but when I get the icon, the bad guy already run off. Here's another example. I need to arrest this guy, but this is just a joke. 5 SWAT officers running after one man, failing to arrest him because I can't properly click on the dude, so we all slow dance. Not only does the game let you command SWAT officers, but also a SWAT tank and a helicopter. But honestly, these suck so hard. They are useless in every way. You can call in a helicopter, for example, which gives you a few options. Let it rotate the playing field to see where people are for a few seconds in a particular spot, and the worst option of all, you can let some members rappel from the helicopter onto balconies. And that's one thing I want to compliment the developers on. Sessions can be 2 minutes, 20 minutes, or you can restart your session 5 times in order to make the game playable. The randomness comes in hardcore. Great examples are when you're fresh 3 seconds in a mission and all hostages die from an explosion set by terrorists. It's an instant game over. The game doesn't even care about you successfully completing a mission. It just drops the mic in the first second, leaving you with nothing. And you need to earn points for every good deed you achieve in this game. Arresting a terrorist, collecting evidence, saving a hostage. But when all hostages are killed the first second, you might as well just restart. So to unfuck every lousy situation in this game and to counter the artificial intelligence, this is what I do in order to play this game the way I like it. I equip every SWAT officer with the same gear. I don't make use of their tier skills. I give them gas masks, mirrors, gas grenade launchers, the whole package. There's really no use as well as time to make use of each team member's skill in the field. When I need a SWAT officer to launch gas grenades, I don't have the time to search for that one officer that carries one. I also fire a lot of gas grenades in any situation without warning. Shooting with a machine gun or pistol comes at compromises. You have to warn the suspect, await his response, and then make a follow-up action. It usually results in the officer getting shot, disabled, or killed, because the suspects are mostly violent and aggressive and fire without hesitation. Firing gas grenades is easy. It doesn't deduct much points of the enemy score, and it's an easy way to round up suspects and hostages, cause they're all down for the count. I also never use the helicopter and SWAT tank. They are very expensive and, like said, useless. The last SWAT mission is a great example of how my theory works. This is a very hard mission if you don't know what to do. This last mission puts you up against dozens of terrorists who attack the police station and want to kill the police chief. You are immediately placed into the action and must act fast to protect the chief. Now, as you see, the chief is here down below in the left corner. The only thing you need to do is keep him alive at all costs. I immediately rush out one SWAT officer into the hallway and start shooting at all the terrorists that cross my sight. Don't talk, just blast away, since they are doing the same. Eventually, after gunning down maybe 10 terrorists, I guard the chief and sweep the building with the rest of the officers. In the end, make some arrests on the still living terrorists and you're done. Now, as long as your ending score is above 60, you will always complete the mission, even if it says unacceptable. Now, I haven't talked much about the terrorist missions, and here's why. They feel like a last-minute jam-packed thing. The Five Eyes are underwhelming in every sense. They die easily and they lack firepower. The missions aren't as exciting as the SWAT variants because all you do is try to stay alive while hastily completing your goal. Once a mission starts, you gotta move real fast because SWAT is literally just a few seconds away breathing down on you. And forget about killing SWAT officers. They come in multi-packs of 15 to 20 against 3 of you. So frankly, I don't enjoy the terrorist missions at all. And I think you're not supposed to. This is a police endorsed product and bad guys never win, period. But since the game came out in 1998, there is one thing that dates from that era. Oh yes. And it so happens to be that this game is built up out of separate files, from images, audio and maps, even INI files. If you're handy with photo editing software, you can edit as much as you want from the game. And so I did. For 22 years, I've been looking at all these annoying mugshots of officers and terrorists. So I copied all the mugshots over to a USB drive, edited all the 849 mugshots with faces of famous actors, actresses and singers, and put them back in the original folder. And now you can play as Dwayne Johnson, James McAvoy, Nicolas Cage and many more. I did the same for the terrorists. Look at all these bright faces. And if you're crazy like me and still play this game after 22 years, I have provided a download link in the description. It cost me about 10 hours roughly to edit this, but was it worth it? It provides a more personal touch, seeing your hero or heroine getting shot at. So to sum it up, SWAT 2 is, in retrospective, still an enjoyable game. Sure, you have to cope with extremely outdated graphics and user interface, a horrific AI and frustrating controls. Well, what you'll get in return is, if you're into procedural games, a gripping game that can make unpredictable turns every time, an amazing musical score, I wish there was more of it, outstanding sound effects, great gameplay that has yet to be matched by other games, and terrific voice acting. With some practice you can work around the negatives and outsmart the game. By now it's time for Sherrow to dust off the SWAT franchise and at least remake this game, since all companies are doing now is remaster old games. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more episodes of In Retrospective in the future, and thank you for watching.